TikTok compilation that might wake you up and change your reality. Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
Wow. Sadly, the mom deer typically abandons the baby if they have an illness. That man gave her the best few days she'd ever have. Not gonna lie though, I was happy, then jealous, then I cried a little at the end.
Pardon, merhaba. Aracınız çok güzelmiş de ne iş yapıyorsunuz acaba?
If Mickey Rourke and Mike Myers order a love child from Temu, if you pay attention, he got a dead eye.
It's like this, okay? It goes, brown are the wealthiest income earners and asset owners in America.
Brown meaning what?
Indian.
Indian. Okay.
Then it's Asian.
Okay.
I think you guys are right there, number 3.
The Jews?
Number 3 spot, because
Okay.
y'all get into a whole bunch of other bullshit.
There's not that many of us, though. There's way less Jews than
no,
the other-
100%. I
Yeah.
mean, by GDP and by population, you guys are fucking like outstanding, outliers. Then it's the white people in the middle. Okay. Now the black and browns are bottom 2 groups, black and brown.
Well, black and Hispanic, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you already said brown
But-
is Indian.
But the most embarrassing stat there is you're a privileged white person in America and you're in the middle. It's disgusting. You got education available to you, healthcare available to you, lawyers available to you, banks available to you. You can walk in anywhere, nobody and you still couldn't.
Saying
to
all
the
these
top.
people are wasting their whiteness.
Yeah, dude. Like, ain't no way another race is going to beat me to the top of the food chain. And I'm white.
And you're white. But you made it to the top of the food chain, so.
That's what I'm saying.
You're the outlier.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, there's no way I'm being blessed with all this.
Okay.
And male, by the way.
And male, right. Male whites.
Yeah.
They're totally wasting.
And good looking.
Right.
His name is Grant Cardone, if you don't know. I think he's a billionaire or almost one. But I gotta respect the fact bro kept it 100. He's keeping it real.
age do you think I'll make it to $100 billion assets?
You could do that by the time you're 35 years old because everybody else around you is sleeping. Lazy's not the problem right now. They're indoctrinated. They're watching their phones. Their heads are going to be falling over their shoulders by the time they're 40. Any kid, you don't need to go to college. That's 4 or 5 years that you would waste. Put your head down now, find the
Wow.
right vehicle, the right opportunity, get in it, learn everything you can about it. Not the little stuff, but the big things that make
All
the
the big
thing grow.
details.
You could be 35. You could be one of the most influential people in
Scary how true this is, but the billion dollar question is, what is the vehicle?
I was today years old when I learned the Empire State Building literally has a blimp dock, and there was some master plan in the 30s to have people 1,200 feet in the air just hop on off the blimp after docking it tip to tip, descend back down to ground, because, instead of landing a plane, this is probably easier, right? Naturally, you don't have to train back from the airport. It's giving danger. The spire of the Empire State Building, pretty epic, I agree. But you look at the blueprints and the master plan for the Empire State Building, and you realize that the spire part, was actually a late addition after they even started construction. And they were like, hey, let's build this docking station. TBD if they just wanted the building to be the world's tallest building in the world. Maybe they built the spire for street cred, but a lot of people think it was because they had this plan to make it a docking station. So, there's the observation deck and all, but above that is this janky, sus little railing that's like knee high, and that is where they were planning on going blimp to tip, let the people go. It was a bold plan, and we are in blimp era. And a lot of blimp experts were like, this probably isn't a good idea if you're talking passengers. So they did like experiments. They had blimps fly over and drop off newspapers, but it could only hover over for like 3 minutes because, 40 miles per hour winds up there, and a floating balloon, not a good combo, especially when you're talking people crossing a little runway. As you can see where that runway was supposed to be. A 200-foot blimp flailing in the air that high up, not a great idea. We've seen blimptastrophe. Shout out to the USS Los Angeles ZR-3, that blimp that just went, like literally blimped up vertically on the tip. You need that second anchor, which you can't do with the Empire State Building, let alone it's a tall building, so you could experience crazy updraft up the side of that vertical. Anyway, a lot of safety concerns, and also wasn't worth risking and figuring out a plan when there's not that many blimpers out there, if that's what they're called. They're kind of just like a blimp in the wind. So yeah, I'll stop saying blimp now.
It's interesting how they don't really teach us about blimps. Airplane, yes, but hardly anything about blimp travel. We need to bring blimps back. The vibe is right.
Time I go to America, I dread that experience. In 1 week, I put on a pound. If I spend 2 weeks in the United States, even if I'm eating the exact same foods I'm eating here in Europe, I put on a pound a week. When I come back to Europe, I immediately start shedding weight. Here in Europe, I drink very little. I eat a ton of bread. I love carbs. I love the pasta here. I do not put on weight. As soon as I set foot in any state in the United States, I start getting bloated.
Well, you are surrounded by pesticides and herbicides at much higher levels. The water quality in the US is lower. What's going on there is you're not actually putting on a pound of fat. You're putting on a pound of inflammation. It's hard to put a pound of fat on in 1 week. Your cells, instead of turning that air and food into electricity and heat, they were turning it into inflammation. And then as soon as you came back here and you cleared the toxins, then you felt better. One of the reasons that I can live in the US and I can be as lean and fit as I am is that I upregulated all of my detox pathways so that I can handle the toxic environment that the government in the US created for us.
Everyone needs ginger daily for inflammation. If you're from the US, I want to hear your take. Please drop a comment. I think I watched a documentary about it a few months back. It has a really sad story behind it. I see it that way since it was about a war.
This is the Jetson 1. It's real, and it looks a whole lot more like the future I was promised as a kid than whatever this thing is. The Jetson 1 is a single-seater personal aircraft that can take off and land vertically. It's super lightweight. It's got sort of like an F1-inspired cockpit or safety cell. It's constructed with aluminum and carbon fiber. It's got a software-limited top speed of 63 miles an hour, and it can hit elevations of 1,500 feet. It's powered by 8 motors, and it can sustain continuous flight even if it loses power to one of them. It also has auto land functions in case of emergencies, as well as a rapid deployment ballistic parachute. The flight control systems, from everything that I've read and all the videos that I've watched now, are incredibly intuitive. In fact, the company says that their system can make anyone a pilot in less than 5 minutes.
What?
As of today, they've sold out their entire 2024 and 2025 production, but the pricing for 2026 shows $128,000, which, and maybe I'm crazy, doesn't sound that bad to me. I really have only 2 complaints about it. One is the flight time, because it's only 20 minutes. I think
What?
40 minutes would be more of a sweet spot. And then the second is that I feel like this is one of those things where you would just need 2 of them, like jet skis. It's just not nearly as fun by yourself, especially when it's only a single-seater.
This will be great for first responders. What do you think?
This is scary. So you know those Walmart brands, there's like Great Value and then the regular brands, right? So they have Cool Whip, and then they have just the regular whipped cream. Did you know it's made by the same company? What Great Value is, they go to the same manufacturers and they just get it made cheaper without that brand name. So, you know, the canned veggies, the big name brand is called Green Giant, and the Great Value canned veggies are also made by Green Giant. It's the same with cereal. There's this store called Aldi in the States, right? Now, this store is known for having the best products that match up to the big name brands. That's how they promote their store. So if you go into Aldi, right, they have this brand called Millville, and all their cereals are offshoots of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, offshoots of Cookie Crisps, offshoots of Rice Krispies, and they look so similar, all made by Millville. The real name brand is made by General Mills. They dug deep and found out that Millville is the same thing as General Mills. It's the exact same. They've been lying this whole time. They also taste the exact same.
You know what else is scary? The fact this almost all AI generated in this video, but the information might be true. Let me know what you think about this. Does it taste the same? Please drop a comment.
We are all in deep danger right now, and if you see this, it's a warning and you need to run, as this is something we were never supposed to see. People were terrified after a man named Jim went viral after he posted something so haunting that people are saying this will put us all in severe danger. With one haunting video showing Jim literally being able to accurately predict what would come next in a slot machine uncut, to even which cars would drive by before they did. It became even creepier when allegedly he was able to show himself in an old Pizza Hut from 1998, showing the very old salad bar to even the lights that don't exist anymore. Footage also shows him at what appears to be at a Freddie Mercury concert before Freddie died. People noticed Jim was able to not only allegedly accurately predict the future, but allegedly able to go to the past, and this was never supposed to happen. However, a lot of people have tried to debunk him, saying some of those places are just abandoned old restaurants that are actually not from the past, and many think his predictions are just edited and voice added in later. But what do you think?
Bro, the so-called Freddie Mercury concert, I saw someone pull a phone.
All right, I want to say 1000% do not buy these Ready Wise emergency food supplies and Ready Hour. That's another company that's a scam. I don't know about the other ones, but I think this whole emergency food supply industry is a scam and they playing off emotions. This cost $150 and it sounds good and you might not open it until it's the real emergency, but I opened it to check and it's like, it says servings, but this is it. It's a couple more bags in there, and this is literally it. And if you think of $150 worth of food, that's 1,000,000 cans of soup, 1,000,000 cans of tuna. But like, what is this? Is this worth $150? No. Like, look in here. $150.
I feel like that emergency food bucket is worth it, only because it has like a 25 to 30 year shelf life. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I heard. Let me know in the comment.
Another classic vanilla sky. The sky was obviously cut out. You can see the remnants of the mask right here. If I zoom out, right, if you didn't notice, you can see people's legs right here. They cut out the people on the top. Like, you can see there, look, there's some feet right there. This guy's head is like half cut off. All those people are gone. Now, what was the point of that? If there was, maybe there was something in the sky they might have wanted to cut out.
What if they were carrying something on top of that as well?
So this is where it goes into the whole theory of the old world known as Tartaria. This is where people are saying, hey, we were pretty advanced not too long ago, and it's been long enough now where the generations have been brainwashed to the education system where they can go back and manipulate these photos and cut out certain things. Now that's just one theory. This is obviously the original sky right here, which was captured by the negative. This is also presented as a negative. The thing is that even if they're not hiding anything crazy, these photos should still be shown as manipulated photos, not glass plate negatives presented as original photos. Because now when we look back and we try teaching history, now we're teaching, what the f are we even teaching anyone? Because all these photos are basically fake, you know?
They were using blimps as a way to travel, way cheaper and more efficient than airplanes. You know, blimps powered by the etheric energy from our sky above. That's what was above.
So apparently the Vatican is preparing people because we about to be seeing supernatural beings, demons, apparitions. And so they're getting ready to give us the guidelines, right? And so even schools are setting up drill tests in case aliens come. This teacher went on record to say that. Schools are having drills, test lockdowns for skinwalkers. Last but not least, they're preparing you for the demon face syndrome. In my opinion, two things are gonna go down. The fake alien invasion, or they're gonna release demonic creatures above ground. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this.
It's getting wild, folks. But I'm protected by the blood of the Lamb. If you know, you know.
Explain why we're not getting to see these images live. The Apollo 11 landing was broadcast live. Why now don't we have the technology to see all of this live?
And we're getting a picture on the TV. You got a good picture, huh?
He's on the moon.
He's on the moon.
The second man is on the moon.
Neil Armstrong getting ready to move the TV camera now out to the panorama position. Okay, as far as distance goes, Neil, and we'll line you up again when you finish the panorama. Tell me if you got a picture, Houston. Well, we got a beautiful picture, Neil.
Issues with file transfers. We did have a number of communications glitches. We had either forward or return link problems.
Also, during coast in the zero gravity of environment of space,
it's very difficult to transmit on the fly, if you will, and get that all the way back to Earth.
Struggle to get communications.
Unfortunately, they're going to be in the darkness. They will not be sunlit, so we won't get very good video of them.
It becomes harder and harder to maintain a lie. You cannot put that cat back into the bag. NASA, the cartoon station.
You guys have seen the videos about the call for Kellogg's boycotts starting on April 1st, but I think it's so important to talk about because it's about the battle between the 99% and the 1%. Us versus the billionaires who are trying to control and manipulate every aspect of our lives, and people have had enough. I'm going to tag the original two creators whose videos I watched and got me all fired up below. But what started this was the ad by Kellogg's that advertised cereal for dinner because basically grocery prices are just too insane for people to afford to feed their families real foods. Kellogg's raised their prices 28% across the board, bragged about record-breaking profits, and then made this commercial, which obviously made a lot of people very angry. So the original creator said for 3 months we're going to boycott all Kellogg's products. Behind me are just some of the products that we will no longer be purchasing. She calls for a start on April 1st, but I say start now. Buy the generic or a local brand, or even better, make your own at home with whole nutritious foods. Because all of these are filled with chemicals, including red dye. It has been linked to depression, mental disorders, ADHD in kids, let alone all the preservatives that we don't even have enough information to know what it's doing to us and our kids yet. And I know some people are going to watch this and think, well, everyone else can handle it, but you can't want a revolution and wait for everyone else to do it for you. This could be the start of something huge, more than just about Kellogg's. If we want to do something truly about the price of groceries, about the increases in rent, the increases in utility, the increase in mortgage rates, we have to take it upon ourselves. The government has already proved that they're not going to do it for us. We vote with our dollars. We make people richer by buying their products. If you want to take away their power, take away their wealth. We outnumber them and they're still controlling us like puppets on a string. Not only that, but when you rely less on these products, you're going to rely less on the products they make to counteract the effects from the first product. If you stop consuming all of the chemicals that are in these products, you're going to stop needing all the energy drink chemicals that are in their other products. Because you're going to have natural energy, you're going to feel better, you're going to start waking up to everything else that's going on. This concerns every single one of you watching this video, and if you want to be part of the solution and not the problem, then we need to stand together in order to get positive change that we want out of this world.
A Box Life. We should all rewatch it. I look it up. Kellogg's also makes Walmart's Great Value branded Frosted Flakes, cornflakes, Raisin Bran, and Rice Krispies.
Cruise lines will hate me for exposing this secret. Hi, I want to go to the Bahamas on a 5-day cruise. Sure, that'll be $4,000. $4,000? Are you out of your mind? Watch me get this for 90% off. I'll actually be booking a last-minute cruise. A last-minute cruise? Yeah, I know that cruise lines actually lose money when they don't fill up all their cabins, so they give massive discounts for trips that are not sold out within 90 days of the cruise. Okay, but you'll never find them. Oh yes, I will. All I do is search vacations to go on Google, click the first link, tap 90-day ticker, and here you'll see all the cruises leaving in less than 90 days selling for 70 to 90% off. Like here, you see a 5-day Bahamas cruise selling for $340 and a 5-day Caribbean trip for less than $500. The world is your oyster. Who showed you this? Casper did. That's why I follow him.
If you don't know, now you know.
Japan needs you. Japan is calling specifically for black men. I know you are saying why, Tasha. They said they need babies, and black men tend to make a lot of them. After South Korea proposed last week $75,000 per baby that a family has, Japan is in desperate need, okay? And they are calling all black men, specifically immigrants, to come and impregnate their women so that they can save their dying population. I don't understand because, you know, black men were once and still is on the inner side of the line, which means their lives, I mean, what are you going to guarantee us if we send our men over there to help save you? Could you imagine? Think about this. After everything they put us through, everything, y'all trying to take these men out. Now you need them to repopulate the earth? The United States is responsible for what's going on over there in Japan. Why should we be held responsible? And get this, they ain't even paying no money to do it. They're just saying, please, black men, immigrants, please come have babies with our women. Here's the thing. We're gonna need to run some tests because it could be from what happened years ago as to why their population is down. You know what I'm saying? That stuff's still in the soil. It's still in the air. You already know what I'm talking about. What's that white man's name that thought it was a genius idea to create the biggest bullet in the world? Oppenheimer. Yeah, that's his name. So why is it that, you know, y'all called him this, y'all called him that, you inflated, you did this, and now you ain't calling for white men. You ain't calling for, you calling for to come save your community. And I'm going to go over there and I'm going to start me a negotiation firm over there in Asia and stuff. And I'm going to have black men come breed with them, but they're going to get benefits. They're going to get lifetime protection from any type of child support if they decide to leave and don't want to stay in these here countries. They're going to be set for life, which means anything that these kids bring, it is going to come back directly to the black family, which means if I send Sheck over there to breed, right? Let's just say hypothetically I sent him over there on a contract breeding, anything that these kids inherit is going to come back to us. The same way they do it with these, you know, we used to be slaves on this land out here, and anything that we work, you know what I'm saying? They own and went back to their family. We gonna start sending it back to Africa, back to the black families. That's the type of contract I need if you need the sperm. Because this one ain't dying. We gonna get our kickbacks out of here. Moving on.
Blackanese, Nick Canyon got this 100%. Bro can represent the entire black man in the world on this. Bro has like what, 100 kids?
I'm going to open the ChatGPT desktop app, like Mira was talking about before. Okay, and to give a bit of background on what's going on, so here we have a computer, and on the screen we have some code, and then the ChatGPT voice app is on the right. So ChatGPT will be able to hear me, but it can't see anything on the screen. So I'm going to highlight the code, Command C it, and then that will send it to ChatGPT, and then I'm going to talk about the code to ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT.
Hey there, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going really well. I was wondering if you could help me with a coding problem today.
Of course, I'd love to help you out. What's the coding problem you're dealing with?
Okay, I'm going to share with you some code. 1 second.
Sure thing. Take your time.
Okay, so I just shared some code with you. Could you give me a really brief one-sentence description of what's going on in the code?
This code fetches daily weather data for a specific location and time period, smooths the temperature data using a rolling average, annotates a significant weather event on the resulting plot, and then displays the plot with the average, minimum, and maximum temperatures over the year.
Awesome, thanks so much. And in the code, there's this function foo. Can you describe to me what the plot would look like if I had versus didn't have this function?
Sure. The function foo xy takes in a data frame x containing temperature data and a window size y for calculating the rolling mean. It smooths the average temperature, minimum temperature, and maximum temperature columns.
So much. So yeah, I definitely will want to apply this function. And so I'm going to generate the plot and then show it to you. Give me 1 second.
Absolutely. Take your time. I'm excited to see the plot when you're ready.
Yeah. So far, ChatGPT has only been able to see the code, and now I'm going to run it, and then I'll use the vision capabilities of the ChatGPT desktop app so it can actually see everything going on the screen as well. Okay, ChatGPT.
Whoa,
I'm sharing
nice.
with you the plot now. I'm wondering if you can give me a really brief one-sentence overview of what you see.
The plot displays smoothed average, minimum, and maximum temperatures throughout 2018, with a notable annotation marking a big rainfall event in late September.
Fantastic. I have another question for you. Which months do you see the hottest temperatures, and roughly what temperatures do those correspond to?
The hottest temperatures occur around July and August. The maximum temperature during these months is roughly between 25 degrees and 30 degrees, 77 degrees Fahrenheit to 86 degrees Fahrenheit.
What's going on with the y-axis? Is this in Celsius or Fahrenheit?
The y-axis is in Celsius. The temperatures are labeled accordingly, such as average temperature, minimum temperature, and maximum temperature.
Yeah. So as we can see, not only can ChatGPT help me solve very easy linear algebra equations that I need help with, it can also interact with, code bases and see the outputs of plots and everything like this going on.
Programmer, data scientist, data engineer, watch out. ChatGPT was already able to do this, just not in a voice form.
GPT-4o real-time translation is so good that it puts to shame AI Pin and Rabbit R1. Just watch it translating back and forth English and Italian.
And every time you hear English, I want you to translate it to Italian. And if you hear Italian, I want you to translate it back to English. Is that good?
Perfetto.
Mark, io mi chiedo se le balene potessero parlare, cosa ci direbbero?
Mike, she wonders if whales could talk, what would they tell us?
They might ask, how do we solve linear equations?
Potrebbero chiederci come risolviamo le equazioni lineari.
Here is another example with Spanish language.
Hey, how's it been going? Have you been up to anything interesting recently?
Hola, ¿cómo te ha ido? ¿Has hecho algo interesante últimamente?
Hola, bien. Sí, un poco ocupado aquí preparando un evento para la semana que viene.
Hey, I've been good. Just a bit busy here preparing for an event next week.
And not only that, but it helps you learn new words in a different language just by pointing your camera to objects and hear how they are called in that specific language.
The objects you're showing are una manzana and un plátano in Spanish. Nice fruit choice.
Cool. What about these?
Those are dos polígrafos or dos plumas in Spanish.
This feature is rolling out gradually and I can't wait to try it.
It's a free app, but some of these features will be limited in the free version. There's also a plus plan, which is $20 per month. Now you can travel the world with almost no limitation. We're back to a Babylon era, folks, when people speak one language. If you know, you know.
I ever ate something that doesn't agree with me, if it really doesn't agree with me, the first thing I reach for is activated charcoal. Everyone should have a bottle of activated charcoal at home. It's cheap And it's a wonderful thing to put into your stomach when you're feeling off and you don't know what it is. You ate something or the bacteria got hold of, they're winning the battle against you or something. Take some activated charcoal and it attracts anything that's harmful and poisonous to it and you expel it. It is wonderful. If you think you had food poisoning, put 2 or 3 pills of activated charcoal in you and watch what happens. You'll feel better in a half an hour, in an hour. It's a simple trick I learned a long time ago.
This is actually very well known here in Indonesia. The old generation does this and still doing it.
He smokes. You're not going to believe this, but
Well, it looks like you guys have officially caused Drake to leave the country. As we are hearing here today, Drake has put up his last property in the United States for sale. He has also put his baby mama and his son on a flight out the country. Could this be because these allegations are accurate? If so, why not go to the state or the country where you have a bunker and lay low? So, as we are hearing today, it is official. Drake is fleeing the country. That beef with Kendrick Lamar, whatever that man may know, and I believe there's more to come, has put Drake on the run. I'm out.
Something bad is coming. They all have left in hiding. Diddy said, if I'm going down, we're all going down.
Also injected with a drug to get pregnant quickly. This drug is also a hormone that can make people gain weight quickly in a short period. Mana was subject to a daily routine of abuse, and she would be tortured if she did not appear to be happy when she attended social functions with Prince Fakhri. She tried to escape many times but never managed to. However, in May 2009, she finally got her chance. Her husband's father, Sultan Ismail Petra, fell ill, and they went with him to Singapore for treatment. At that time, Prince Fakhri was busy with his sick father and didn't have time for Mano. So she took the opportunity and triggered the emergency alarm in a Singapore hotel elevator, which brought security guards who allowed her to run away. With help from the U.S. Embassy, Manohara made it to Changi Airport and successfully returned to Indonesia. When the story became public, it caused a huge scandal and even strained relations between the two countries. Through a press conference, Mano and her mother revealed many shocking truths. I've been treated like an animal. I'm like his property. I was in his room, and whenever he wants to play with me, he just goes into the room and plays with me. I'm like an object, Mano said. Sexual abuse and sexual harassment were like a daily routine for me, and he did that every time I did not want to have sexual intercourse, she added. She also revealed that he raped her even before they got married, and she couldn't tell anyone. However, the prince denied all accusations, claiming she left of her own accord and accused her mother of influencing her to make up stories about him. In July 2009, he took legal action against her in the Malaysian Islamic Sharia court, and on December 13, he won the case. The court ordered Mano to go back to her husband and pay back a debt of $1.8 million that she supposedly borrowed from him. However, Mano never returned to Malaysia or attended the court proceedings. The lawsuit Fakhri filed was in his home state of Malaysia, where he holds significant political connections and power. Therefore, if Mano had returned to Malaysia or appeared in court, she risked being deprived of her freedom once again. So it was deemed both intelligent and prudent for her not to attend. Shortly after, the two were officially divorced. Now, almost 15 years have gone by since this scandal. Mano is 32 years old now and has grown into a stronger woman. She went back to her studies and continued her career as a model. Getting married at such a young age, I faced many challenges. But I'm thankful to be where I am now, she said. I'm grateful that I survived. Today, I'm healthy and able to work here in my homeland until I achieve my goals, she added. Mano is also active as an animal and environmental conservationist, helping rescue and rehabilitate injured, orphaned, or endangered animals and preserving wildlife and natural habitats. She's also active on Instagram, collaborating with fashion brands, designers, and cosmetics. She looks happier and more beautiful than ever. On the other hand, Prince Bakri lost his title in 2010 after being suspected of involvement in the shooting of his brother's bodyguard. Mano's story highlights that being the wife of a prince isn't a fairy tale. In real life, marrying into royalty can be disappointing and even a nightmare. What do you think of this story? Share your opinion in the comments. And that's it. If you enjoyed the video and want more like it, be sure to leave a thumbs up below in appreciation.
Yep. She's happy now and live in Bali. She became Christians and very active in church. God bless her. Her name is Manuhara.
Would you be shocked to learn that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself?
No. I mean, how many Jeffrey Epstein type people are out there?
Well, that's right.
That's the real question.
You mean people who've been killed, or people who are using sex as a blackmail tool?
That.
Yep.
And then who's pulling the strings on that?
Any guesses?
Well, Ghislaine Maxwell has a lot of ties to the Mossad.
Yep.
That would make sense. I mean, Jeffrey didn't seem to get some of the appointments he was given in prominence based on merit. Somebody was putting him in the right spots. But I don't think he's the only one. I think there's a problem, a weird, bizarre problem, really, that has a weird sex component to it with some of the elites, and there's a pedophile component to it as well, which is really sick. And there's some prominent figures who are in the spotlight as of late. I would like that to be exposed. But Jeffrey Epstein had the goods on everybody. So there were a lot of people that didn't want him to be alive. And then the whole, wild story around, multiple people being asleep and, him not being watched at the time is real convenient. And I just don't believe in that many coincidences.
No. He was murdered in federal detention in Manhattan. I don't think there's any question about that. And people lied about it, including the then Attorney General of the United States.
I think there's some weird correlations between and anomalies that, the Johnny Depp trial had eyes on it, crazy coverage, and the Ghislaine Maxwell trial had next to no coverage, no TV coverage, no nightly commentary about it, no traffic to nobody. I mean, they literally she is indicted for trafficking kids, and nobody who she was trafficking kids to got indicted.
Or named.
Yeah. And all the files that are out there still haven't been released. We have one testimony from one victim. That's all we have. When that came out, it was just literally like one victim. And there's hundreds of just in that little who flew on the Lolita Express. And there's a lot of super prominent names who are on the flight logs.
What's the sex thing about? I mean, you've been in famous guy world for a long time, and you're from, like me, you're from California, so obviously you've been around well-known cultural figures, the elites. How long have you thought that sex plays a role?
Well, not that long. I mean, I've just kind of, I've seen some interesting things.
I bet you have.
Been around some interesting parties and gatherings that are strange. Not anything like what it sounds like, a Diddy party. But just even at, an Oscar party, just seeing how some of these people act was always a little bit strange. I just never resonated with it. It was almost like interesting people watching, but there always seemed like there was parties within the party, people kind of doing their own thing. That always kind of weirded me out a little bit. But getting into conspiracy stuff, then about secret society stuff and stuff like the Bohemian Grove.
Yes.
And what Nixon said about the Bohemian Grove. And
what did he say?
You have to go look at his quote. His quote is not exactly, there's some.
I think he said something like that they're all gay, right?
Yeah,
something like
that's
that.
That's basically what he said.
Yeah.
And the secrecy around that, and that's not the only secret society. There's a lot of really interesting secret societies, not just like the Skull and Bones at Yale, which has produced all those presidents, and the Freemasonry at its highest level, and there is a sexual component, I think, to a lot of that. Obviously, with Epstein, it was blackmail to get them to do what they want. I mean, how many people are compromised by that are in positions of power today?
Yeah.
I think you're naive to think it's none.
He is an educated man, to say the least. And I love the fact that he's not on board with the agenda. I want to know the truth also.
All of the rumors about Drake and the dogs are connected to the blind items that I
Whoa,
read
this
2
is
months
crazy.
ago that were allegedly about Dutch Avelli and some inappropriate animal acts. So how does this all connect? Diddy, Drake, Dutch Avelli. I'm going to read a tweet that I read this morning that puts all of the pieces together. This was from Ryan Nice on Twitter, or X. Hey guys, seeing this stuff about Drake doing some quote-unquote acts to a dog floating around. I obviously cannot confirm any of it to be true, and I do expect it all to be bullshit in regards to there being a video. But earlier this year, UK rapper Dutch Avelli, brother of Stefflon Don, had some court papers leaked which confirmed his family to be a part of some sex trade in Dubai. Why is this relevant? Because Sean Combs, aka Diddy, would use Dutch Avelli's family services when in London and Dubai. Why is this relevant? Because Drake was the one who told Diddy about Dutch's family being in the sex trade and being able to get animals involved in sex acts. In court, a video of Dutch humping on a dog was played and so on. All of this information and more can be found online. And if you want to go back, I
That's
did read
crazy,
many blind
man.
items about Dutch Avelli a few months ago. They are very disturbing. They include allegations of child SA, animal SA, and doing acts in Dubai for men for money. And the Dubai thing has been proven, and the child SA thing has been proven. So, yeah.
These people are sick. You know, Kendrick opened Pandora's box and brought all the blind items together.
Bring your fruit home, even if it's organic. How you're washing
Oh yeah, even if it's organic. I actually recommend that you wash your fruits and your meats. So the way to wash fruits is put them in a bowl with filtered water, preferably as cold water as you can get it. You can even actually use ice. Put it in a bowl of a glass bowl of cold water, filtered water, and then add about 1/4 cup of vinegar, white rice vinegar, white wine vinegar, even apple cider vinegar. So 1/4 cup of vinegar and about 1 tablespoon of baking soda. And you'll notice it will fizz up, and then just massage the fruit around in there a little bit. You only need to leave it in the bowl for 1 minute.
Okay.
You don't need to let it soak for 10 or 15 minutes. It will actually start to draw the color out of the fruit, and it will even draw the sweetness out of the fruit, which is not what you want. You want the pesticides, the herbicides that may be on the surface of the fruit to be drawn out, and then get all the bug parts and droppings and possible worms and things off of the fruit and any kind of dirt or debris that's on it. But it only takes 60 seconds to wash your fruit in cold water.
Does it taste vinegary afterwards?
Not at all. You don't taste it at all. So when you're done washing it, dump the bowl of fruit out and then rinse it with filtered water and then put it in the refrigerator in a covered glass.
I heard they cancel each other out. Man, the internet is confusing. I'm just going to pray over it.
Most people don't realize this. Angels are actually another species that God created. They don't have wings. Never a single time in the Bible do angels have wings. Cherubim do, but not angels. They are male. They're strong. They're just human looking, but bigger and more handsome, more powerful than us. And they actually travel in ships. You read it in Ezekiel chapter 1 through chapter 10. They travel in flying saucers that create coals of fire as they travel.
The whirling wheels in Ezekiel 10:10. Or maybe angels are whatever you need them to be.
Did anybody hear what the Vatican is preparing guidelines for? I mean, it is really sketchy, people. The Vatican is preparing guidelines for apparitions and other supernatural phenomena. I literally can't make this look at this. The Vatican is preparing to release a document giving guidance on how to discern supernatural phenomena. As you can see, the Holy See Press Office announced the upcoming document will be published May 17th, saying that this doctrine of faith is in the process of finalizing a new text, with clear guidelines and norms for the discernment of apparitions and other phenomena, saying that an apparition refers to an instance in which a divine entity, such as a saint, the Virgin Mary, or Christ himself, makes itself known to a person on earth. What the f***? And the Catholic Church is supposedly urging extreme prudence before ascribing phenomena to a supernatural force, warning that being too quick to attribute divine origin to explainable occurrences can damage the faith and warp belief. What the f? Last month, the Vatican also released a document providing guidance on the place of human dignity in the modern age. And the document also denounced gender theory, gender transitions, and surrogate pregnancies as violating basic moral precepts. Once again, you cannot make this up. Does this not sound like Project Bluebeam to anybody else? And I know, oh my god, I sound like a crazy person, right? A conspiracy theorist, right? Kind of ironic how anybody's even considered a conspiracy theorist anymore. Especially when you consider the fact that it took our own government over 100 years to admit that in quotations aliens are real. Does anybody even know what extraterrestrials are? Or how many different species of them actually exist
They're
in the
demons.
first place? People really need to get in touch with reality, man, because god, I don't know, man. Something about this just does not feel right. And I'm really curious as to what everybody thinks about this. I mean, is this not sketchy to anybody?
Bible warns you, you would see many signs and wonders, but many of them would not be of God. And you have the Bible and Spirit to discern what is what.
You died very recently? Is your headstone close by? Tongue terror. Yeah? Okay. Okay. Am I going the right direction? Cross the road? Okay. Okay. We're going. Go north? Huh. Okay. Is it this direction? Just make sure you tell me when to stop. Cemetery, yes. Can you give me your name, if you don't mind? That good. Thank you so much. Sarah, hello. One ghost detected. We must stay. Hurting. I'm so sorry. Tyler. Hi, Tyler. Is your headstone this way? You said go north. This is north. Eugene and Tyler. Am I in the right area?
They mean you harm.
They mean me harm. Listen, I don't mind talking to good or bad spirits, okay? Dark spirit. This is sacred ground, you guys. 100% dark spirit. Tyler or Eugene? Do not go. Do you not want me to go any further?
Get out of here.
Tyler.
Wow.
Yo, Tyler. Is this you?
It's not him.
Sure. Thank you for showing us where your headstone is.
That's not Tyler. It's demon pretend to be Tyler. I cannot believe that this is a thing. It's a spirit box called a necrometer and spirit talker. Google it. It's wild.
The UK has come to. This is what the UK has come to. They're locking up the boxes of coffee. It's got that bad in the UK that they're locking up the boxes of coffee. 10 great British pounds for coffee. At this point, I'm not even surprised why people are stealing them. But the one no one wants, the decaf, not only has it not been protected, but it's been reduced as well. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to say. They've put a GPS tracker on the cheese. They've put a GPS tracker on the cheese. Respectfully, how down bad can people be that they're putting GPS trackers and caution signs and a whole security case on the mature cheddar? If it was a TV, if it was AirPods, I'd understand. I'd be real, I'd understand. With cheese, why?
Cost of living crisis is a preparation for a war in 2025. Allegedly.
How you actually eat the rich? You know, the kind of people that run BlackRock, the kind of people that run Boeing. These kind of people speak one language, and that language is money. So if you actually want the ruling class to listen to what you're saying, you need to hit them where it hurts. And it's not in their bank account. It's in their brokerage accounts. The top 1% own more than 53% of the stock wealth in America. People like this don't keep their money in a bank account. They keep it in assets like stocks, bonds, property, and all sorts of other shit. These are the people responsible for the destruction of the middle class, for your wealth going down, for your grocery prices going up, for your jobs going away. And to a lot of normal people, the stock market seems like this separate thing that doesn't affect your life. But that is not true. Whether or not the stock market affects your life, because you may or may not be invested in it, the stock market affects the ruling class's life. And the ruling class use the manipulated, corrupt stock market to continually siphon wealth out of the bottom of America up into their bank accounts. And they do this by giving their money to their buddies that use all kinds of complex financial fuckery to manipulate markets, to cheat, to insider trade. And they let the politicians and the regulators in on the gains so that the whole wheel keeps on turning. Everyone just looks the other way. That's why what is happening with GameStop matters to everyone, whether or not you're invested in GameStop, whether or not you care about the stock market. What is going on with GameStop right now and for the last 3 years is regular people using their corrupt rules against them because they got caught with their pee-pee in the grinder. And I'm sorry, but if you're gonna cheat regular people out of their money every single day for decades, you can't whine when we use the exact same market mechanics that you use to steal our money and our livelihoods to win a trade. It's not our fault if you YOLO'd so much money into the other side of that trade that you're going to go bankrupt if you lose. It's not our fault if the banks have been gambling behind the scenes and are going to go under if they lose. Not my job to prop up criminal financial institutions. Sorry. If you didn't want the market to be irrational, maybe you shouldn't have made it legal to manipulate it. I mean, we're all just playing by the rules that you guys set up. So just remember, whether or not you're invested in GameStop right now, there are two teams. One team is composed of hundreds of thousands of regular investors that just want to do well by their families and give a big fuck you to the managerial class that's been screwing everybody over. And the other side is all the bankers and politicians and regulators that have been profiting off of your demise since before you were born, and doing Lord knows what else with all that extra money they're accruing. So just remember, the media is going to try to paint all these regular, hardworking people as greedy, meme stock investors that are uneducated and Lord knows what, so they can look out for their banker bros that cut their checks. Don't fall for it. All they want is for things to go back to normal so they can keep taking your money and flying to private islands in the Bahamas with it.
All of the
I absolutely love that this platform is excellent at educating people on this topic. I wonder why the government wants to get rid of it.
The kids, 54 children, were brought to Cartagena, Colombia on that island. They all showed up right there, but then we gave the signal. Our signal was ordering tequila, right? As soon as we were sitting there talking with all the traffickers, as soon as we have them on camera saying exactly why those kids are there and what they're willing to do, so the kids never have to stand trial and say, you know, this is what happened.
Yeah.
We have it all on camera. As soon as we have all of that, then we ordered tequila. And then literally 2-3 minutes later, after we ordered tequila, the waiter's supposed to go back, radio the other agents, boom, they're supposed to storm it all where you get arrested, right?
Yeah.
2 minutes passes, 5, 10, 15, 20. It was 45 minutes later. Now, the thing is, we didn't know. We didn't know what the delay was.
You're like, what's going on?
We had no idea.
Did they leave us out here?
Exactly. They're leaving us and we have the traffickers here. And so, you know, when we ordered tequila, unfortunately, to the traffickers, that meant the party's ready to start. So Fuego gets up and he's like taking out his and he puts it out on the table, you know, and we're like, okay. And then they go in to go get the kids to bring them out for the party. This can't happen, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, guys, you've just proven to me that you could deliver what you said you would deliver. The whole reason for this party is so that I could see if I wanted to invest in your business. You bring out those kids, you bring out that. I'm gonna have a great time. I'm gonna be effed up for the next 2 days. Bring me out a piece of paper instead. Let's draw this. And that business plan was a pure just delay. Unfortunately, that business plan was the darkest, most evil piece of paper that I've ever seen, let alone written myself.
Yeah.
Right?
I thank God for people like him. I believe this is the story based on the sound of freedom.
You got to see this photo that King Charles just revealed. See it? What do you notice about this photo? It looks like he's in fire to me, right?
Ooh.
Almost as if he is trying to tell everybody something. I can't really delve too much into it, but I think you know where I'm going with this. And it starts with anti, if you catch my drift. But it looks like he is standing in fire. Looks like he's in hell. Or am I just being too much of a wackadoo? I don't know. This year is definitely very, 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 very spooky. And this is a very, very, very spooky painting. What do you all think about this?
Ghostbusters 2 painting of Wilhelm von Homburg as Figo.
Speaking of the IRS and taxes, dude, this video was from the early 2000s. Past employed workers for the IRS, they all left because they figured out federal income tax is non-constitutional, and it's actually, there wasn't a law put in place. So they're like, people are just paying federal income tax when they don't have to.
Unlawfully.
Yeah. And someone put out a thing, they said, if you can find the law that says you have to pay federal income tax, we'll give you $50,000. And that's how the one IRS agent found it, and she's like, there's no law.
We have to pay federal tax.
She even said upwards of 60 million people in the U.S. in the early 2000s were not paying federal income taxes. And then one guy, he's like, yeah, I'm not paying taxes. He was brought to court, and they're like, wait a second, we don't have a law. And so they couldn't charge him with anything. There's some conspiracy with the Titanic and taxes. There's someone on the Titanic that was a politician or whatever that very opposed to the collecting taxes for the Federal Reserve and stuff. And the Rothschilds, Rockefeller, they were supposed to be on the Titanic, and they decided not to get on last minute. These guys that were very opposed to the Federal Reserve died in the Titanic. A year later, federal income tax, the Federal Reserve was established.
Okay, let me know how you feel about this. Drop your comment, please.
I've told you about Sandra Bullock. I told you about Julia Roberts, the Williams sisters. They all got turned early. But how about one that's trying to turn later? He missed the boat when he was little, I guess. So now... No, actually, this is called the Diddy effect.
Oh my God.
Right? This is some of Diddy leak footage. There's a lot of them out here wearing them dresses and taking it in the behind. But he got on the bandwagon a little late. He wasn't trying to be a female, but he's trying to dress like one now.
I lost respect, but it is called a humiliation ritual.
Most intense last words I have ever heard. So this clip goes viral. This woman right here is a hospital worker that's about to be executed, and she was asked if she had any last words, and she just responds really emotionlessly, like she's no longer even here on the planet, like she's accepted her fate. She just says, I hope my parents are doing well. Like, I feel remorse for my parents. I feel sorry to them. And that was it. It's like the most standard textbook type of response. But the interviewer who worked for the news station decided to push on, to press on. So she brings up this woman's boyfriend, the one that was about to be executed for murder because they killed somebody together. And the interviewer says, I know I probably shouldn't tell you this, but just, because you're gonna die anyway. Your boyfriend is no longer being executed. His sentence was commuted to life in prison. And you just see this woman's face. She starts crying, like tears of joy, of happiness. She's like nodding and crying, and it's oddly emotional and oddly moving. She said, at least one of us is going to live, and I'm not holding him back anymore.
就像你昨天说的，希望他们留下来，你如愿了，他留下来了。真的？为什么会那么高兴？他怕了缓刑。有什么跟爸妈说的？
妈妈，对不起。希望你们为了自己好好活着。
30 minutes later, she was executed.
Do you know what she did? She unalived her rapist with her boyfriend.
Been a lot of rumors about child actors in Hollywood recently. What do you make of all that?
It's all true.
Did you escape unscathed?
I did. I saw a lot of it. For example, I worked on a children's TV show on a major network. One of the writers, after we wrapped on the show, after the show was canceled, it was inappropriate relationships between an adult and minors because Hollywood goes ahead and it blurs the lines between what is appropriate between adults and children because you're working with adults constantly.
Right.
My entire life. Those lines get really blurred. So if a writer on a TV show that you worked on invites you and one of your co-stars out to lunch to talk about another TV show that he's working on, your parents go, oh, okay, yeah. Well, you've worked with him for 2 years at this point. Let's take you to lunch. And then you're sitting here with this girl who's a year older than you and he starts talking about the lesbian fantasies that he has about you and your friend.
I'm amazed at the number of child actors who left Hollywood and have called out this behavior but never name names.
True Name of God in TV shows Part 3. In this one they show you how they cover up his true name.
Just finding this out now? No one must know. Exodus.
On that document he just shredded was the father's name, which was replaced with L-O-R-D in all caps in all the newer Bibles. It originally said his name, Yahuwah, which is represented by 4 Hebrew letters, Yod, Hey, Ua, Hey. Yahuwah. If you click on Lord in the Hebrew concordance, it'll take you to H3068, which is his name Yahuwah, which they removed 6 1,000 times from the Old Covenant alone. This is why we say hallelujah in church. It literally means praise Yahuwah or praise Yah. The Father's name is not Jehovah. In the Hebrew concordance for Hova, H1943, it means ruin and destruction. So this can't be his name if we're saying that the Father is ruin and destruction. And they also tell us that the Savior's name, Jesus, comes from Jehovah is salvation, Jesus, which is false because we know that this name is false. The Savior's true name is Yahusha, which means Yahuwah is our salvation. If you click on Jesus in the concordance, it will take you to H3091. Yahusha, Yod, He, Ua, Shin, Ayin. He came in the Father's name. Yahuwah is the Father's name. The Son's name is Yahusha. They both have Yahu. Messiah said in John 5:43, I have come in my Father's name, and you have not received me. But if someone else comes in his own name, you will receive him. Who came in his own name? The false name, JC. If you click on Jesus in the concordance, it'll take you to root word etymology of Yahusha. It tells us it's a combination of the Father's name, Yahuwah, H3068, and the Hebrew word Yasha. So the Father's name, Yahuwah, and the Hebrew word Yasha, H3467, Yahusha, which means Yahuwah is salvation. Isaiah 43:11, I am Yahuwah, besides me there is no Savior. Letter J in the Hebrew never existed. The J is literally only 500 years old. The Father's name is also literally in our DNA. There are these sulfuric bridges that hold our DNA acids together. And the sequence is 10, 5, 6, 5 repeating. If you substitute Yod He Ua He in the Hebrew Aleph Beit for numbers, you get 10, 5, 6, 5. Yahuwah. Yod He Ua He. 10, 5, 6, 5. Don't believe me? Go fact check it. If you guys want a part 3 on this series, don't forget to like, follow, let me know in the comments if you want a part 3, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
I feel that God's true name is Yahweh, since when sounded out, it resembles bread, and our God gave us a life and our first bread. And demons still flee in the name of Jesus.
Something right there. If they're not even pushing it, that means something's really going on. They don't even want people to know about it.
The entire country of Cuba woke up 4 days ago to all of their bank accounts empty. Everyone in the entire country woke up with no money.
So how does that happen?
That's why I don't use banks.
The switch is happening, folks.
You ever wondered why some young girls grow up to be hyper-masculine women with attitude problems and they have a hard time changing? This is exactly why. The video I'm about to show you is the perfect example of what a lot of these women were missing when they were growing up, in the form of a strong father figure.
Now look, I got something to tell you, and don't get upset, because it's for you. I'm taking you out of gymnastics for the rest of this month. Keep running. Keep running. Come on. Relax. Stop crying. Guess what? It's for you. You've been walking around here like you know everything. You're acting all arrogant. You got this attitude. Your grades been slipping. It ain't just about because you can flip. That ain't what it's about. You really want to do this, you're going to have a good attitude. You're going to have awesome character. You're going to have to be a good person. You're going to have to learn what working hard is.
Now, to some people, what this father did to his child might seem harsh, but this is exactly the kind of parenting, discipline, and correction young kids need growing up, even and especially young girls. Without patriarchal discipline in the form of a strong male figure in their lives, young girls will be enabled to developing bad behaviors, and most of the time it's in the form of toxic femininity. Things like having attitude problems, developing an ego, even getting pregnant early are more likely to happen when there isn't a strong father figure in the home. As much as young boys desperately need masculine parenting and discipline in their lives, so do young girls, and this was a good example of that.
He's actually being a dad, while most people just create iPad kids. It's not harsh at all, it's necessary. When I was a kid, if my dad wanted to discipline me, he used a little stick. He tapped me on my bum, then asked me why I did wrong. After that, he'd hug me, and I remember my crying becoming louder when he hugged me, because I knew he loved me. He passed away last year at the age of 93.
What I'm about to say, only take if it resonates, you feel me? But, it got to do with like black magic, witchcraft, cults. I feel like you single-handedly destroying a cult. Like, somehow, some way, somebody like, put you on the radar of this cult. And, they truly didn't know who they was dealing with, though, when it came to you. Like, when I say from the top to the bottom, from the leader to the smallest worker, whoever you are, like you running through this cult single-handedly by yourself. You might not even know this. You might not even know who the damn cult members are, but you doing it. And I also feel like they feel like you the boogeyman or something. Like they truly scared of you. Like if any of these people was to see you out in person, they might truly jump out their skin, you feel me? Like, that's how terrified of you they are. And for good reason, though. Like, man, you my hero, whoever you are. Cause I'm sick of all this cult shit. Man, they think they can do whatever they want and target whoever they want to. With all that negative stuff. And you somebody that, 121 as I say this, you ain't going for it. It's like, it's part of your mission, your purpose or something to just, only you can do this, whatever it is. And only take what resonates. If this ain't resonating with you, it's not for you. You gonna know this for you when you hear it. But like, it's almost like you a vigilante or something. Like you choosing to fight back. And you got the green light to do this, you feel me? Like, I'm even getting a message from my hat, like the camouflage. Like, you hard body, bro. Like you like a general. You somebody that's spiritually, like your ranking in the spiritual realm, bro. Like, you got a whole lot of stars and medals, you feel me? And shit, whoever you are, you real magical. And I truly meant it when I said it. Hey, you my hero. Keep going. Don't stop. Blood, I'm proud of you. And I'm always rooting for you. Keep going, you feel me?
They prey on fear. Fearlessness shuts them down. Fear not is written 365 times in the Bible for a reason. If you know, you know.
Walking is great, but do not count that as exercise.
I appreciate the gal for posting the video. It's really sweet of her to say what she said. You should go to that video and check it out. But first, I've got something to say about that. At one time in my life, I weighed 613 pounds. It was the roughest day I've ever had. Went into the doctor's office and they told me I weighed that much, and it crushed me. I was always big. I was always the biggest kid in school. I was always made fun of. And I had really bad mobility. My knees were really busted up. I played football and I got hurt really fucking bad. And I wasn't able to do a lot. That was my dad. He's the one that's hiding behind me. He lost his house right before he passed. And I had to watch him go in a really fucked up way. He suffered from diabetes and he had just incredible complications in his life. I didn't give a fuck about mine. So when he died, though, I realized the show I was putting on for him wasn't very good. And I figured he was watching me and I could do better than what I was doing. So I started walking on this patio and this new house that was built for him that he never got to live in. He passed right when we finished the house. So it was 100% handicap accessible for him to be able to walk out onto this patio every day or go out on in his wheelchair and come to the back porch here. And it was set up so that he could get a cup of coffee and just hang out back here. And it crushed me that he didn't get to do any of that. So I walked for him and for me. Yeah. I dieted. I had to do things. I had to change the way I ate. I had to change my habits. I stopped drinking alcohol. I stopped fucking eating fast food for years. I stopped drinking soda for years. I never lost the weight when he was alive. And it crushed me because I felt like I had failed him. I walked my weight off. I lost 405 pounds doing it. I'd be walking in this video right now if it wasn't for a bad foot I got going on. But it's gonna heal, and if it doesn't heal, I'm gonna get a prosthetic leg and I'm still gonna walk. I lost my weight walking. I didn't do anything crazy. You could go to the gym, you could do whatever the fuck you want to do, but walking is exercise. It'll save your life if you do it right.
Walking is marketable. They can make dollar on it, so they hate on it. Walking is the most effective exercise for joints, heart, blood flow, mental health, and more.
Not know how much I did not know about money until I decided I didn't want to be broke anymore and I wanted to be rich, so I started studying the rich. First one's going to blow your mind, and it's going to change the way that you think about everything that is going on in the world right now. Okay. Inflation is a tax on the poor that is used to make the rich richer. Think about this, okay? The middle class is taught that to get ahead financially, you need to save a lot of money, right? But when you save money and it's in a savings account, that money is just being devalued every year because of inflation. And then inflation continues to go up every year, and the poor and the middle class, they're still working the same number of hours. They're still getting paid basically the same salary. They can buy less and less things with the money that they have. Meanwhile, somewhere, money is being printed, inflation is continuing to go up. And when inflation goes up, the value of assets goes up, and who owns all of the assets? The rich. So they actually become more wealthy from inflation. So the lesson that I took out of this, and the lesson I want you to take out of this, is you need to convert your cash into assets. There's a saying, cash is trash, and I do believe that cash is valuable in some instances, like, an emergency fund. But aside from that, your money should be in things like stocks and real estate so that it can continue to grow for you and fight inflation. And this way you don't have to work harder to make more money. Another thing that's crazy is a lot of people think that the stock market is the only place to grow your wealth if they even know about the stock market. But the rich know that some of the best investments are in the private market. So for example, I started investing in the private markets, right? And so I have public REITs, which are real estate investment trusts, where it's like I own a piece of a company that owns and operates real estate. And then I also have this, but on the private side. The public ones do well, right? Maybe I'll get like a 4 or 5% dividend plus some appreciation. But the private one, last year I made 18% on one. Another one that's going to change the way you look at managing your money and your debt. So every time you pay a fee to someone to manage your money for you or to service a debt, you are paving someone else's path to wealth. And so, for example, a lot of people don't realize this, but if you are paying an investment advisor, you're kind of capping how much money you can actually make. So let's say the market on average goes up by 10% a year, but you're paying 2.5% in fees. That means the most you can make is 7.5%. And you're like, oh, well, 7.5% is good. No, look at that. I was running these numbers for a report that I'm writing, but basically if you invested $100 a week from 35 until retirement at 10%, you would have almost $900,000, which is this number right here. But if you were capped at that 7.5% that I said, you'd only have $555,000. That's $350,000 that you paid in fees for something that you literally could have done easily on your own. And what a lot of people don't realize is every minute you waste waiting to get started or waiting to do things the right way is another minute that you'll never get back to build wealth. The most valuable thing you have in life in investing and making money is your time. Time is actually more important than money when it comes to building wealth. Yet, it's crazy. If you started investing $200 a month in your 20s by retirement, that would grow to over $1.8 million. It would provide you with over $72,000 a year in income in perpetuity, forever. But if you started at 35 instead of 20, you would have to invest $900 a month to get to the same number, to get to that $1.8 million. If you're watching this and you feel inspired, that makes me so happy, first of all. And then second of all, I actually have a bunch of free financial trainings that teach you more about how to save money, how to make money all without a budget, because we're not about that stuff here. We don't do restriction. We want you to save for your future, but we also want you to enjoy today. Okay, so I have 4 free trainings on my website under freebies, or you can apply to work with me as your 7-figure mentor, and we actually help you build out your step-by-step roadmap to financial success. Link in bio.
This is good, folks. Had no idea about the private sector investing. I trade currency or forex. It's stable, with a daily volume of 6.6 trillion with the T, according to the 2019 Triennial Central Bank Survey of FX and OTC.
Here we have a picture of Bill Clinton from a few years ago. Looks pretty rough. Age is getting to him. But wait, Have you seen the recently posted picture of him now? Who's that guy? Not the same person. Definitely not the same person.
Central casting. Many people are being replaced by lookalikes. Alright folks, I'm going to end our video with this coming clip. Be kind to each other. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and don't forget to like or dislike so I can make better content. You can also buy me coffee or support me on Patreon if you like. The links are in the description below. Thanks for watching. Peace and God bless.
Smile. Okay.
Now tell me. Time out! Hey, time out! The reason why it's so funny to me is, do y'all not realize how strong, how much strength you gotta have in that fart? Because, listen, I don't know if many of y'all ever played in mud, because I know y'all new generation kids don't go outside, but mud is heavy and thick as shit.